this is basically a presentation on how we have already implemented GenAI and in our for data analytics, and what we had to do, what are some of the realistic expectations that you can have, apart from all the hype that you see in media, on LinkedIn, on on the news and all those things. So yeah, this is about that. This is about our implementation. May not coincide with your what you were already expecting, but yeah, this is an approach we can have. Okay, so who am I? I'm a senior data engineer at Funding Societies, part-time wildlife photographer, and just a shameless plug for pick. So Funding Societies, who we are, we were launched in 2015, specialize in short-term loan financing for small and medium enterprises, and it's funded by institutional investors as well as individuals like us. And we operate in the Southeast Asia region, mainly Singapore, Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia. We are the largest single unified SME digital platform in Southeast Asia. And in April 2023, we crossed the milestone of disbursing more than 3 billion US dollars across Southeast Asia. So that's a little bit. Key takeaways: address key data related issues on how you might prepare your data for, for something like this. Begin with low risk use cases such as aggregations, and what's in store for the future of data analysis using GenAI. So I just want to touch upon the second point here about low risk use cases. So why is that? So that can be a great beginning place for implementation of GenAI, because firstly they are very they have high accuracy straight out of the bat, and because it's low risk, it's easier to build trust with the user. Otherwise, if you go about with full complexity and you don't get proper what your expectations is, then your business team will be like, okay, this is rubbish, and they'll basically discard the idea and whole work will be kind of useless. So yeah, that's that. And a brief introduction. So it is what it essentially is. It's a Slack chatbot, and it allows users to query data using natural language. So your business users, your data analysts, they will put out some queries using not normal AI prompts, and essentially it will go and in our case it will query Snowflake and it will get the data back. It started out as a hackathon project, OpenAI GPT 3.5 Turbo, and it can also give us some bar graphs, pie charts, simple charts like that. So essentially, if you can see, it's still a very basic sort of a thing, but it works, and it's building trust, and we are continuously working on it. Right? You might have a question: why Slack chatbot? So first, what we saw was that we are already using Slack extensively in our organization, and if I just go and tell the business users, right, okay, using Slack already for something, you can either message us or do this, or else you can go to a different platform, you can write your queries there and you'll get your data. Nobody's going to do that the first 2 or 3 times, but then they'll get bored of it and they'll not go there. That's a whole other tedious task. Integrating it was an option, and yeah, so that's essentially it. Second is, before I get to the nitty-gritty of it, is a little bit of that you can use. So roll it out in a phased manner, and you start it out with your DA team and your business users who are well versed with SQL. So essentially what you can do is that they'll give the prompt, you'll get the data back. Along with the data, you'll get the query that was also run. So we are not going to expose our data to LLMs or to OpenAI or whoever. We will simply be getting data queries. We'll run that on Snowflake in our case. We'll get the data and we'll return it to our users. And yeah, so it helps. User has SQL knowledge, so we'll give the SQL as well, and they can check it out. Okay, if this is correct or not, if it is in line with their expectations or not, based on the feedbacks on the prompts, and especially with the ones that regularly produce incorrect queries, they'll give us that feedback, and we as data engineers, data analysts, will write the correct prompts, and we'll fine tune the data. OpenAI provides that fine tuning option, and you can do that. So last one, you can increase your user base. Go back to the iterative process. So you can do fine tuning methods, you can do fine tuning exercises a couple of times a month, and it helps increasing a lot of accuracy. And so what OpenAI themselves claim is that a fine-tuned 3.5 model performs better, has better accuracy than the GPT-4 straight out of the box. They haven't still released fine-tuning GPT-4, but yeah, so you can go with that. So now the whole question is why? How many of you are, you get messages like these? Can you extract the data from me? I need the table ASAP. Can be a bit more complex, a bit more simple, but sure, everyone gets it, right? Irrespective of what your designation is. You can be data engineer, data analyst, data scientist, even for that matter. The metrics, how many? You can see according to how much time is spent on ad hoc queries. So you can see that most of the people have commented that 21 to 40% of the daily work is ad hoc data queries. And what does the majority of your ad hoc requests look like? Simply fetching data. Visualizations and analysis. So we can see that it's not about complex analysis or visualization, it's just simply fetching data, right? So this is why it is required. It takes a lot of time it takes a lot of your data team, and even the business team, they have a lot of TAT because of the TAT increases if they want to take some. So yeah, so navigating that, it's simple. You can see reduces TAT of reports, leading to faster business decisions by your business teams, reduce workloads, of course, on the data teams, and mainly it opens up your data infrastructure, your database for your business users to talk to the data without using SQL. They don't need to learn SQL. They can talk to the data. They can figure out what is there, what is not there, and all those things, right? This part, the separation of hype from reality. Now, before I begin, a lot of these things are with 3.5 and GPT. We have seen in the last couple of months, there are a lot of changes that have come in. GPT-4 has been integrated with DALI 3. A lot of things have changed. So, but yeah, we can bear in mind. So as I mentioned, we start off with generic aggregations. OpenAI and all of the other LLM providers, they themselves claim that aggregations and normal filters are they are very accurate, they're highly accurate, and it's much more easier than integrating super complex queries or going to the nitty-gritty of the data and all those things. So generic applications, it's easier to work with. Your team can get used to how your chatbot would work. You'll get feedback, you can make it better, and from there you can go on, and in the future you can move to complex queries. Yeah, it's limited in niche scenarios. Like for us, we're a fintech. I cannot ask it to give me like super in-depth finance related queries or data points or do some OPEX calculations or whatever. And I will not know because if it returns the correct thing or not, I might not know as a data engineer. Maybe someone from the business team will know, and there will be loss of trust, right? And industry jargon, nuances, cultural references as well, that an AI model might not understand, at least for today. Second is diverse data sources. What I've seen is that these type of things, especially the querying, it works extensively well if you have a proper well-defined schema, if you have a well-defined infrastructure, proper relational databases. If you throw some XML or a JSON on it, it probably might not be able to work on it, but right. So yeah, as a company's data sources, they can be incredibly diverse. You can have systems. Some department might be using some SaaS service, some other department might be using something else. You cannot expect everything to come together and talk to right on day one. That's where the iterative process comes in. And the last is focus on the insights. So it's very easy to get a bit lost into the hype and what it provides and this and that, right? So what we are expecting is that it is giving you quick insights. Even though it's quick insights, it's relevant insights. It's not giving you time-taking trash. So whatever it's giving important but relevant things. So you can focus on those insights. If you have some other high complexity, even though it's ad hoc, even it's complex, you always have your data team to go back to. You can get that cat message again, right? So yeah, that's that. Navigating the implementation challenges. Now this is uh, comes to us. First of all is the user level challenges. I'll get to the data teams one. This is some user level challenges which you will face from your end users, and you will have to kind of help them navigate it. So first of it comes from vague prompts. So data teams, business teams, they get comfortable with a few data people, and from them, whenever they're talking, they know kind of that there's a tuning between them. They can talk to, okay, give me just this. So I, as a data engineer or data, okay, this guy works in finance. He's from Singapore. He requires something from Singapore finance tables, right? But an AI will not know that. So if there's something vague, tell me about sales data. What sales data, over which period of time, from which product, from which company, whatever, right? So yeah, that is incorrect. Second is incomplete or ambiguous prompt. So like this one, analyze the sales data. It's both incomplete, it's ambiguous. Again, comes back to what exactly is it that do you want. It lacks crucial details such as time frame, specific metrics. Last one that was a kind of a surprise was keyword clarity. So if I go to you, right, and I tell you, okay, like I have a product, give me the metrics about the sales in Bangalore and Mysore. Now you know what is Bangalore and Mysore, but if your table contains, like, let's say, countries, districts, cities, and villages and whatever, right? The AI model will not know how to generate that it will put the filter on cities for Bangalore and Mysore. So that in that way you can give a clarity that provide me the latest month's sales data for the city. So in that way it will know that. So yeah, of course, these things, maybe the third one, it will get better over time with the new evolutions of GPT. I'm using GPT, so I'm mentioning that. They will also get better with fine tuning of the data, of the model, sorry. So, but yeah, it's that you have some sort of clarity, you give very specific and clear prompts. Yeah, now coming to the implementation from the data team. It you've already heard multiple times today. Inconsistent or poorly defined data schemas, sorry, and data security and privacy. So I'll quickly touch upon the first one. So it works very well if you're, especially if you're exposing, like, let's say 5 or 10 tables to begin with, and they all are connected to each other through some primary key, foreign key, surrogate keys, and all those things. It's better that you give it a well-defined schema, and everything is well-defined that, okay, this is a foreign key from this table, it will, and that is when the joins and all will be more prominent, will be more correct. And of course, the second point is that you have a proper comprehensive data dictionary, well defined. If you already have that, then yeah, that's a major plus. Data security and privacy. So yeah, potentially exposing sensitive data to the entire company. Again, over here, I'm not talking about exposing data to a model, because essentially we're not passing the data to the model. But over here, like chatbot, anyone can query anything, and that is something that needs to be stopped, right? If I open up like PII information, and they can give the they can give the query, okay, give me performance of Siddhant Agarwal's loans. So that is another issue. Enhance data security by implementing either views, or you can create another table on top of that, and those tables are then exposed for your querying. So that way you can monitor and control the PII information or specific columns if you want. And of course, the last one is, that you really need to stop people of different departments or different countries getting analytics of those departments, especially of other countries as well. So on that one, you can apply RBAC for based on different user profiles. And yeah, these are some of the next steps of our chatbot. We are even now we are fine tuning it better. Implementation of RBAC, as I mentioned. Communication. It's not it doesn't talk to you. It's still a one-way communication. It's a message that goes from Slack and you get the output. You cannot tell, okay, this is wrong, okay, or that is wrong, just fix it. Something like that you would do on a chat GPT window. So maybe like I can start a conversation from there, something I have to work upon. Improving data gravity, that's a continuous thing. Adding multilingual support. So like in We also work in Indonesia. We have a lot of people whose first language is Bahasa. So they might not know English for their regular work, and it's not correct for us to expect them to learn English for this work. And so yeah, we can add non-English support as well. And yep, these are some of the strides that already been made. As I mentioned, the first one, OpenAI not only released GPT-4 integrated with DALI 3. So currently Python code which runs from code interpreter if the user wants some sort of a pie chart or a bar graph or histogram. 3. Defog.ai, another leader, they released SQL Coder 2. I think it was just last week, where they have they have released the model. You can download the LLM model into your your servers, some Target, whatever, and you can then give your database schema, and it can work on that. So that will reduce, and that's open source. So that will reduce your dependence on OpenAI. For example, you will not be vendor locked. Yeah, Google, AWS, Microsoft, they have all done their integrations. Google has launched integrations with AI. It is integrating LLM. If you're already using BigQuery, maybe you might need to go down this path. Same with AWS, Microsoft, as they have OpenAI, they've integrated Copilot with GitHub, and they are also now looking to open OpenAI's capabilities into Word, Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint, as we saw in the morning today. And yep, this is all from my side. I'm open for a question. Yeah, you can reach me out on LinkedIn. Yeah. I'm open to questions. Sorry, come again? No. So what it can do for you is, OpenAI is, especially in Python, Open has their own package, right? And so what you can have, let's say, your business user, your analytics user have given you, let's say, a set of 25 prompts. But for these 25 prompts, I am getting incorrect SQL every single time. So what essentially you can do is you can make a CSV. In one column, you'll have a prompt. In another one, you'll have, let's say, the correct SQL that you have written or your analytics team has written. And OpenAI's package themselves, it has a fine-tuning module. So you can just pass that CSV to it. Of course, have your own API token and you have the model name that you're using, right? That you've created for your own, and you just send it to that. It will take around like what? Depending on the queries you send, I think from 15 to 30 minutes. And it will do that. It will create a new model. We'll start using that. And then based on further, inputs, you can fine tune the third one, the second one, the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and have as many, yeah. So you can go that progressively. No, we not for our customers, for our own internal. Yeah. Yes, sir, go ahead. Yeah, so so as I mentioned, this was a hackathon project. I have to do it like 3 days. So I'm using the base 3.5 turbo. And then as I got more and more feedback, a few people started using it, they liked it. They gave me feedback that this is incorrect. Then I saw the fine tuning and all, and then we moved from there. Yep.
Hey, yeah, so you have mentioned the wake commands, right? If people give me the sales data or analyze this, right? So, and that user control as well. You don't know what your end user is, why they are asking sales data, what should I give back them, right? So how are you managing it? Are you giving the configuration type of files where you define, okay, if the message comes from this user, then do this, or how are you?
Okay, yeah. So if you see this one, right, the second one, back. So this is currently the main thing that I'm working on. So over here, essentially what it does is Slack itself will send as an input the user who has triggered it, the whatever prompt, right? And I'll send it to in my, let's say, Snowflake. So either in my Snowflake or wherever I can want, I can have a list of users who and their, what can I say, the departments or the countries which we already have for our back. So this is something that we already have there. We have the username, their our department, the country, and only thing I need to do is I need to add another column called Slack. What is it called? Slack username, and yeah, from there I can then filter it out. But okay, if this is something that is not matching, or if I am getting a null data as an output, then I'll just throw it back to the user that it might be that you're querying something that you're not permitted to, or or just like there's no data available for your specific aggregation.
Okay, got it.